Greetings, this is Dwayne, CFRN. And Mavis, can I get somebody up here from calendars? Thank you. Today is the 4th day of January 2017. All right. You'd be stir crazy too if you spent all the hours in this office I do. All right, I've done the Monday night video, which was like a webinar. It was a training class. Last night, I did a video that simply recapped all of the concierge trade alerts that were sent out Monday night. Today is now Wednesday, the 4th day of January, and I'm about to do a recap of all the concierge trade alerts that were sent out last night, Tuesday night. About an hour from now, I'll be sending out tonight's concierge trade alerts. And then tomorrow afternoon, Thursday, the 5th day of January, we will be having another live webinar type class. So you will have had Monday night's alerts, Tuesday's alerts, and now Wednesday's alerts, 3 days of alerts to go through, to kind of try to figure out, to, get a handle on. And so when we go into the class tomorrow afternoon at 5 p.m., you should have a laundry list of questions, and we're just going to hit them machine gun style, rat-a-tat-a-tat, okay? Because I covered a lot Monday, and everyone who's joined since Monday on the trial, I've sent you a recording of that video. Every day on the radio, or today on the radio, I told you to go look at the video from last night. Tomorrow on the radio, I'll tell you to go look at this video if you don't stumble upon it yourself. Point is, it's repetition. It's the same thing again and again, okay? And I've got to believe, based on emails and comments and texts and whatnot, that people who have had access to the trade alerts in the past, perhaps as a bonus, when they were becoming a partner, they didn't really understand them, didn't know what they were, didn't really know how to put them to use. So that's why we decided to do things a little bit different. This week on the trial, number one, there's no fear of it rolling over into a subscription that you possibly can't afford. Okay? The end of your 5 days, it simply stops. And you'll be sitting there scratching your head going, man, those other people are making money and I'm not. Okay? So you'll have to contact us and say, can we talk about a subscription? There has been some requests from those on the trial already who've said, hey, I'm ready to sign up now. And we're like, no, go through the whole trial, then you can sign up. And they said, okay. But there have also been requests, do you think you could break it down to like a monthly? So it would be a little more affordable for me up front, and I'd be happy to be on like a monthly rollover, every month until I cancel. Just like with the partners membership after you end your 90-day mentoring. And so Michael and I, of course, are having a lot of closed-door meetings trying to determine what's in the best interest of our clients and partners and community, and what's in the best interest of the business. So by the time we have our final class, which I'm going to assume will be next Monday, could be Friday, but probably Monday, we will unveil to you what the new method is for becoming a client, and if it's going to be monthly, how that will work, where you'll go, what you'll click, and etc. Okay? But for tonight, let's get through one more day of the recaps. Now, I've already recapped these on today's radio show. If you were to go to this address, let me show you. I know I've shown you before, but again, the best way we learn is through repetition. emini.cfrn.net. Scroll down. Yesterday was like the trade of the day. Our crude trade, we said to go long 54.35, ran up 900 bucks. We said to go short 53.75, dropped 1,500 bucks. Now, when you have a wide-ranging day like that, the following day can often be sort of quiet and like a steady eddy and just kind of roll to the right. We actually had a good trade today in crude, and I'll show you in a minute. But compared to yesterday, it was a whimper. Here is the Concierge Trade Alert video recap that I did last night and why it wants to insist upon showing that black screen. As you can see, the video's there.
Greetings, this is Dwayne.
You can blow it up.
You
can go here.
Of the Concierge
You can put it on a higher quality.
Last night, most of you that follow us closely know
480 is as high as it goes.
On the radio show,
It's not too pretty. Anyway, it works.
Play-by-play, blow-by-blow.
Okay. So now let me escape out of full screen. And then below that is yesterday's radio program. Okay. Now, if you scroll down to the bottom of this page, you go, oh, well, that's a lot of stuff. Oh, wow, that's even more stuff. Wow, they do have a lot of stuff on this page. I wonder how far it goes. Did you know the answer is nobody really knows? We have a blog on our website. This is actually a Google Plus blog. Now, I know that you can go back at least 2 Thanksgivings, but I also know you can go back further than that. You just keep scrolling. This is the radio show that was done Tuesday, December the 6th, 2016. If you click it, it will play.
866
The radio show was only an hour and a
331.
half that day.
We'll send you a
I must have been under the weather or had one of my infamous. Oh, this is interesting. There's a lot of fake news going on these days. This is good too. I don't know why the pictures came out wonky like that. Are you tired of paying someone else to mismanage your retirement funds? Would you like to become better educated, empowered? Now, this isn't us offering to manage your money for you. That's the last headache I need. But we will teach you how to manage your money, okay? Because let's face it, your nest egg has got to last you till the end of your life. You can trust a quote-unquote professional who has hundreds of other clients and who might do a very good job and charge you some serious fees and commissions along the way. I don't know. All I know is that there's an invitation here for you to come and spend a week in our live trading room and figure out an alternative way of managing at least part of your nest egg. Again, we don't manage your money for you. We don't trade it for you. We teach you how to do it. You don't have to scroll all the way back and find this. Just go to apply.cfrn.net. You'll get an automated email with a link in it. You have to click the confirmation link. Then you'll get another email that gives you the link and the password and everything you need to come into the live training room. If you're already on the Concierge Trade Alert trial, you already have the link and the password to this week's live training room. So I would really make the most of my trial because you're getting the alerts, plus you get the live training room, plus you get to use our indicators, plus you get to use a platform if you need it. Truly the best of all worlds. Okay? So, my point was simply that on this page you'll find much stuff. You could keep yourself busy over the course of a summer vacation trying to consume all of that information. But are you really interested what we were talking about July 1st of 2013? I don't know. But if you are, you could go back there and listen to it. That's the power of the internet. Okay? Now, if you happen to be watching this tonight, you just stumble across our site and you watch all this for the first time, when you take this trial that I'm talking about right here, where there's no automatic rollover, $1 for the 5 days trial, you get all the stuff I just talked about. You don't have to start on a certain day. It's a rolling 5 days. You get 5 trading days from the day you start. Okay? So if you start next Monday, it will end next Friday. Follow me? Okay. Just click here. Take care of business, TCB. And then do me a favor. Send me an email. support@cfrn.net. That says, hey Dwayne, if you misspell my name, it's okay, even though it's right there. I just signed up for the $1 trial, because that will cause me to jump into motion and send you a bunch of supporting documents and emails that you need to help you through the trial. Otherwise, it might not be until next morning when I stumble across the notice from PayPal that you spent the buck. Then I'll spring into action. So it's much better if once you do the sign up, email me, tell me, I'll bounce it off PayPal, verify it, and bang, I'll send you out your stuff. Okay? Now, tomorrow night in the live class, I'll be limited on time, but we'll at least have an hour, okay? Because I have a partners meeting that starts at 7 p.m. Eastern. So I'm going to meet with you guys from 5 to 6 p.m. Eastern, take an hour break, have a little dinner, and then the partners meeting typically runs 2 hours. You have to be a partner to get into the partners meetings. So let's get down to business here. Now, I explained to you a lot of the how-tos and what-fors last night. Did I not? I did. So I don't want to be redundant and like just regurgitate all the same stuff again. So if you did not watch last night's recap video, may I suggest that you hit pause on this video, go watch last night's video, which runs about 40 minutes, and then come back and watch tonight's video, because I'm going to move sort of quick, and a lot of the stuff that I really took some time to go over last night, I won't have time to go over tonight. So watch video 1. First, watch the training class if you have the link. If you don't have the link, then watch last night's video recap for the Concierge trade alerts, and then come back and watch this video that I'm making right now. Last night on the S&P, when I sent the alert out, I said if you get a chance, I want you to buy or consider buying 2256. Okay? 2256 triggered really right here, and we had a run up of 2.25 points, which, by the way, if you only take 2 points out of the S&P every day consistently, and over a period of time you build the size of your account using only profits you earned in the market, 2 points a day, which is $100 a day, can become $2,000 a day over 24 months. But you gotta be incredibly disciplined. You've got to have a lot of patience. You have to follow the rules that we give you. If trading were easy, let's face it, everybody would do it. It's not easy, but it can be simple. Important prices, important areas are almost always tested. So price gets back below the trigger by 1 tick right here. That resets the trade and gives you a brand new fresh trade. And it runs all the way up 7 ticks. 7 times 50 is $350 per contract. Costs $500 margin to trade one contract. When you take your profits, you get back the $500 margin you put up, plus you get your profits that you picked up. We never get out at the swing high or swing low because we always trail our stop. Chances are, when price pulled back on this next red candle, at some point right in here, you got stopped out, okay? Now, if you're the type of person that keeps their stop down here and pays themselves on the way up, the way Mark Douglas teaches, he was a good friend of mine, in his book, Trading in the Zone, then you potentially could still be in this trade if you wanted to be. However, we do not recommend that you hold positions open from one session to the next. Today's session ended at 5 p.m. Eastern. The Wednesday session. The Thursday session began at 6 p.m. Eastern. It's almost 7 p.m. Eastern, so the Thursday session has been underway now for almost an hour, and as soon as the new session opens, the day session rates go into effect. So if you've looked at margin requirements in your broker's portfolio or brochure or website or whatever, you've seen the different margin amounts for the different markets. S&P 500, NASDAQ, Russell, and the Dow, those are all your best bet for the money, in my opinion, because the margin's only $500 per contract. Now with the S&P 500, you control over $112,000 of S&P 500 best of breed equity for only $500. It's mind-numbing when you compare that to what you can get at your stockbroker's office for $500. You can get 5 shares of Apple, or you can get 10 shares, maybe if you have a good relationship, but you still owe him for 5 shares, and you're going to have to pay interest on the 5 shares he loaned you. I would so much rather be in control of $112,000 of equity for the same $500. And the way you arrive at the price or the value is you take the current price and you multiply it times $50. Why $50? The S&P 500 pays $50 per point. The Dow, on the other hand, pays $5 per point. Bonds pay $1,000 per point. The NQ pays $20 per point. Soybeans pay $50 per point. The Russell pays $50 per point. Crude oil pays $1,000 per point. And gold pays $100 per point. Okay? So, beautiful trade on the S&P. We were blessed and thankful. Now, somebody mentioned to me, man, I don't think I can stay up all night. You don't have to stay up all night. You can, if you get triggered in early, you can take that trade. Or if you want to trade at 10 o'clock in the morning, 10:30, you could take this trade. See, the first trade finally wound its way up to 66 points at $5 per point, $330 per contract available. Important prices, important areas, almost always tested. Price gets below the trigger, and guess what? Up we go, and this time we catch 49 ticks. It went higher after I measured it on the radio show. Times $5 equals $245 per contract available. Okay? Now, when you triggered in over here at 19,815, you put in a swing high at 24. So see, that's only 9 points. Then you got back below the trigger and you put in another swing high at 31. That's 16 points. Then you got below the trigger, and this is where you hit the 66. If your goal, if you're trading our 2420 blueprint, and if your goal is only $100 per contract per day, well, you need 20 points in the Dow. However, the fact that you're learning the Concierge trade alerts means that you're willing to risk a little more because you expect to gain a little more. In the very first training video, which you have the link to, or I will send the link to you if you're on the trial, teaches you that the most we risk on a Concierge trade alert is $300 per contract. I show you ways where you can often risk a whole lot less than that. Like right here, I mean, your risk is so minimal, it barely moves the needle, okay? But that's okay. That's what we're looking for. That's somebody said, I don't know what the secret to your sauce is, but I want some. Well, that's part of the secret of the sauce, is that we know by reading the chart, rather than us tell the chart, we let the chart tell us where to put the stop. And we let the market tell us where we can expect to take our profits. When price got up here, when you teach your kids to cross the street, look left and right. Look both ways. Yeah? But when trading, look left. Price ran into resistance here. And so on the way up, we expected to run into resistance in the same spot until proven otherwise. What happened? So if you're trailing your stop, when you get up into this area here, you're going to tighten that thing up. You're going to ratchet it up so tight that it's going to come back and stop you out. Great. I love getting stopped out with profit. It's a really good feeling. And hold on a second. I need to check something. I apologize. I invite you to a webinar and then I put you on hold. Sorry. Oh, okay. It can wait. All right. Let's go to the next market real quick. Bonds. Now, prior to the Fed minutes announcement this afternoon, the 30-year Treasury bonds had not triggered, period. They did trigger in this 30-minute candle, but not enough to be profitable. And we have a rule that whenever there is a major economic event, we kind of go to the sidelines. We don't trade news. We avoid news. We go do something else. We walk the dog, make a sandwich, write a letter. Whatever you need to get done, do that until the news bug passes. And then when the rhythm returns to the market, that's when you want to get back in. Okay? Now, yesterday, bonds were kind of wild. Bonds pay $31.25 per tick. I don't recommend that for the new traders. So 5 ticks, that's, $150 per contract. $210 plus per contract. And this ran further than after I measured it. 150.15, it actually went up to 13, there it is. 13 times 31.25. And we had two-sided action. What do I mean by that? Sell 149.20 gave us 18 ticks at 31.25 per tick, 562.50. But that's yesterday's news. Okay, we're on to a new day here. And so we really had no trigger to speak of in the bonds. And if you're new, stay away from them anyway. NASDAQ, pretty great day yesterday. Today, a little quieter. Anytime you have a wide-ranging day, expect the following day to be a little quiet. But it got up and went towards the end of the day. All right. Now, we triggered 49.11. Here, let me drag this out. If you want to snap a screenshot of that, you can. Whether you use the snipping tool or whatever method you use for taking a screenshot, feel free to do that so I don't have to drag it out every time. Okay. So, NQ by 49.11. All right. So we run up 6 3/4 points at, I should say, $20 per point. And what do we have? $135 per contract available. Port prices in important areas are almost always tested. See how we got back below the trigger? Off we go again. And this time we get up to 49.18 1/4. So that's 7 1/4 points. So that's a little more than that. However, it continued on all the way up to 49.42. So 42. I know I can do this in my head. $31. I do that. So, if you weren't trailing too closely, if you hung in there, see, I'm thinking, I measured that right here. I'm thinking this pullback took you out, and then you never had a trigger to go back in. But if you weathered this pullback and stayed with the trade, you were able to actually get 31 points times $20 per point. Not bad work if you can get it. Oh, that's right. You can get it. That's what this is all about, right? If you can detect that I have a slight case of hay fever or some other villainous thing, thank you for your prayers. They're most appreciated. Maybe I should bump up my audio a little bit just to make sure you can hear me. All right. We're almost done. Soybeans. Nice move on the beans. On the beans, we said go long ZSH7 by 10.06. If you bought 10.06, I counted this swing high, not this swing high. It gave us 8 points, and at $50 per point, it's $400 per contract available. So great day for the grains. The Russell, we said to buy 1370 in the email we sent out last night. And I think I measured here. Yep. 17 points times $50 per point equals $850 per contract available. Now the Russell trades on the ICE exchange. That's one of the reasons it doesn't open until 8 p.m. Eastern. It's also why you have to pay extra for that data. And it's also why, well, they recently whacked it from paying 100 a point down to 50 a point. Come June, there was a press release. The Russell is coming home to where it was for so many years, and that's at the CME, the Chicago Mercantile Exchange. Does that mean the cost for the data will go away? I don't know. Does it mean all CME data will now cost money? I don't know. Will it go back to being $100 per point instead of $50 per point? Again, I don't know. You see, I have no problem with saying I don't know if I don't know. I'm not intoxicated by the sound of my own voice. I won't tell you something just to sound good. If I don't know the answer, I'll say I don't know, but I'll try to find out, okay? If I do tell you something, I want you to know that I'm not confirming or explaining out of a book or a manual. I am always teaching and preaching from my own life, my own mistakes, my own victories, my own everything. All right? I think that is such an incredibly fair opportunity for you. All the money I've lost, you don't have to lose. All the time I spent chasing gadgets and things that go bump in the night and cluck like a chicken and all the crazy stuff. I bought it. I tried to make it work. Now, there's a lot of valid tools out there that measure different things in the market. Things like MACDs and stochastics and Bollinger Bands, and they're all fine tools in their own right. And advanced decline line, I mean, oh my goodness, the list is long. However, since we are only looking to be involved in a trade for, well, let's take a look here. We get triggered in at 7 a.m. this morning. Or you might have gotten triggered in at 9:30 this morning. Okay. So these are 30-minute candles. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's where I measured to get that 17. 6 30-minute candles, that's 3 hours. And so what we find is that because our relationship with these trades is pretty short-lived, I mean, to an investor, a 3-hour trade is a joke, okay? But to a trader, a 3-day trade is a joke. And nobody should be laughing at anybody because the market services both investors and traders. And I think that even traders who earn their daily bread as a trader should have some long-term investments where you are not only using technical analysis, but you've also done some fundamental research. What's the company all about? You know, is this a new disruptive technology? Could this become to search engines what Google is? Could this become to blowing your nose what Kleenex is? And if the answer is yes, then I'd like to own some of that. If it's a stock that pays dividends, that's something to consider. Just because it pays dividends today does not guarantee that 3 years from now it's going to still pay dividends. You know, things change, times change. Always check with a licensed investment professional before making any investment decision. Trading and investing is risky. You can lose all of your money and then some. So, don't take these disclaimers and disclosures lightly. Understand that they're there for a very good reason, to protect you. Now, the head of the CFTC tendered his resignation yesterday right after the close. I wrote about it last night on the blog. And I don't know who President-elect Trump is going to put in that chair. It's the Commodities and Futures Trading Commission. And so they hold a whole lot of sway over how you and I make a living, okay? So it's going to be real interesting to see who they put in that chair. You know, we've had the threat of the trader's tax hanging over our head for a number of years because certain members of the left felt that it was Wall Street's fault that America fell into a recession and had so much financial problems. And while maybe you can loosely hang that around Wall Street's neck, you as a retail trader working out of a small office, or even maybe you've turned one of the rooms in your home into your office, did you have anything to do with subprime mortgages? Well, you might have taken one out on a home that you couldn't afford. A lot of people did that. But were we responsible for the recession? No. 1,000 times no. And this trader's tax would aim to penalize all traders for the mistakes of some higher ups, you know, people like Jamie Dimon and others who made some horrible mistakes, and the whole gang with a capital G over at Goldman Sachs. I pray that Trump sees through all of that, and that this goes away and this cloud no longer hangs over our head. Let's move on. Crude oil. See the big day yesterday? $8.90 on the way up. That's what was available. But then as it pulled back, you got stopped out and left a little on the table. As it came down, I think I measured this right here. That gave me the 1530 number, but it actually continued on down further. So, again, you left a little on the table. Today, the first trade, $210 per contract available. The next trade, if you have not been through my training, you got stopped out. If you've been through my training, and if you were on a 30-minute chart, you would have done one of two things. You would have gone to a smaller time frame, or you would have just walked away and waited for the next opportunity, which, based on a smaller time frame, very well could have been this trade, which produced $580 per contract. When the 30-minute chart does not prevent you with a trade that lines up with your risk profile, or the concept that you don't want to risk more than $300 per trade on a Concierge Trade Alert, in that first training video from Monday night, we go into great detail, and I show a lot of examples of what going to a different time frame can do for you, and what it can show you, and the opportunities it can present you. Okay? All right. The only thing left, guys, because we do 8 markets, the only thing left is gold. And here's what happened in gold today. Now, yesterday was two-sided action. We had 340 on the upside, and we had 250 on the downside, and then we had 1,000 into the close. Actually, not into the close, into lunch. This was the 11:30 candle. Well, we triggered 11 o'clock, and it ran up $1,000 per contract. This vertical line represents the time last night when I sent out the new set of alerts. I actually sent it out, as you can see, at 20 after. But because I'm using 30-minute candles, I'm using the 7:30 candle, not the 7 o'clock candle. Because at 7 o'clock you couldn't have taken advantage of these trades, but at 7:30 you could. So rarely does it cause any kind of conflict, but just want you to understand that. Okay. So the idea today was to buy 192, and the first move up made $190 per contract available. That might have been enough to satisfy you, and you're done for the day. And you go, well, I can't live on 190 bucks a day. Okay. But if you've been with us for a while and you've earned your way up the ladder of success and you're now trading 5 contracts, actually, let's go with 4, because I feel that going from sim to 1 to 2 to 3 to 4, based on the rules that we give you, I think that's doable inside of 6, or by the 6-month mark. Okay, so if you go 190 times 4 contracts, then that same move, you didn't have to do any extra work, but the same move paid $760 before commissions. Okay, let's say that it took you, well, it took you 1 trade. Commissions on that, there's different commissions for different markets. The indices like S&P, NASDAQ, Dow, Russell, those are all $5.80 per trade. Now, that's a round trip ticket. Stocks are quoted as a one-way ticket. And a lot of people don't understand this, and if you come from the world of equities, I completely understand. I didn't understand in the beginning either. When you see a commercial for one of the major brokerage firms, stock firms on TV, it says trades as low as $7 each or $10 each. Okay, that's $10 to get in, and then when it's time to get out, it costs another $10. For whatever reason, in the world of commodities and futures, commissions have always been quoted in round turn fashion. In other words, when they quote the price, that's the cost of getting in and getting out. Okay, so you pay one money one time, whereas with stocks you pay to get in and then you pay to get out. All right. So I think on gold, I think the round turn commission with our broker is $7. But let me go out on a limb and say it's $8. Okay? So if we do some fast math, that number I came up with, this little move right here, $190 per contract available, okay, times 4 contracts, $760. Now you're trading 4 contracts, so let's say your round turn is $8. Don't think it's that high, but let's be conservative and use the high figure. So that means you have a commission cost of $32. 10 minus 2 is 8. 5 minus 3 is 2. So, after commissions, you walk with $728. Now, that's if you got out right at the exact swing high. We know we don't do that. So, let's say instead of making 190, let's say we only made 140. Okay? So, we'll take 140 and multiply that times 4, and we come up with 560, not 760. Okay. However, our commissions are going to be the same. Took 1 trade on 4 contracts. So, $32. 10 minus 2 is 8. Carry the 1. 5 minus 3 is 2. So, you walk with 528 instead of 728. Now, depending upon who you are and where you came from in life, making $500 in a day, in a few hours, might be something you've never experienced before. If you average 500 a day, then you're averaging 2,500 a week after commissions. Okay? Now that's at 4 contracts. Now let's say you were in this trade. Okay? Oh, I see there was action after I closed out the radio show. And so this one ran all the way from 62 up to 1170.3, so we'll just call that 8 at $100 per point. That's $800 per contract available. Okay. All right, so on this next example, there was $600 per contract available, but you're not going to get it all. So let's say you only got 400. Okay. So 400 times 4 is $1,600. How much is your commission? It's the same. What? It's the same. You're paying an $8 round turn, which I think is high, on 4 contracts, and you took 1 trade. So $1,600 minus 32 in commissions. 2 minus 2 is 8. 9 minus 3 is 6. So $1,568 after commissions. Now, probably not a lot of people in the audience are accustomed to averaging $1,500 a day. $1,500 a day on a 5-day week. What is that? 7,500? Yeah. Over here, it ran up 800, but it's pulled back. So let's say you end up getting out with 600. Okay. 600 times 4. Remember, we're at 4 contracts 6 months later. And so 600 times 4 is $2,400 minus how much? $32. 0 minus 10 minus 2 is 8. 9 minus 3 is 6. $2,368. $2,368 times a 5-day week equals $11,840 for the week. That's with 4 contracts. The 2420 blueprint is designed to take you from the simulator to 1 contract to 2 to 3 to 4, all the way up to 20, over a period of 24 months. A huge mistake that a lot of traders make is they cash out their 401k or they sell their business, and so they come into a lot of money. Okay. And so once they sit down and do this math, they go, wow, I'm not going to monkey around trading in sim, which is where you learn how to trade by practicing. I'm not going to fool around with trading 1 contract. That's for chumps. You know, I'm a successful businessman. I know how to do math. Okay. But do you know how to trade? That's the key. And so this nouveau riche individual, despite my pleading and begging and cajoling and everything else, they go against my advice and they insist on trading 10 contracts right out of the gate, or even 20. Because remember, in the world of futures, if you're trading the S&P 500, to put on a trade of 10 contracts at $500 per contract would be $5,000. Well, if they're a person who has been trading for any length of time or have been investing in the stock market for any length of time, it's not unusual for them to call up their broker and say, give me 500 shares of Intel. I have no idea what Intel's trading at today, but you can do the math. And so for them to put up $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 on an investment is no big deal. But this isn't an investment. It's a short-term investment, but it's really a trade, okay? And so they are, because they're so intelligent, at the end of a week, when they're down 10 grand, they come to me literally in tears and they go, I don't understand what happened. I was so successful in my previous business. I did so well for so many years. And I made good money. I just lost 10 grand. And then all I can do is say, I'm so sorry that happened. Do you realize that if you had followed the rules, if you'd stayed, and I don't relish being an I told you so guy, but so I try to be gentle. I say, if we had stayed in SIM until we were firmly convinced that we had the strategy nailed, and then if we went live with one contract, and then we stayed with one contract until we increased our account balance by 2 grand, then added a second contract, then went on the calendar system where you know it exactly on what date you're going to add your third contract, as long as you remain profitable. You know the date you're going to add your fourth contract, the date you're going to add your fifth contract. And any time along the journey up Trader Mountain, if you find yourself slipping, if you're not gaining altitude, if you somehow become unprofitable, it happens. It can happen when you go to 3 contracts. It can happen when you go to 5, when you go to 10. It can happen when you go to 1. Man, I was killing it in SIM. As soon as I go live, I can't even seem to get out of my own way. Okay? It's a very common problem. But we have a very unusual solution. You go back into SIM. It's not a walk of shame. It's a wise business decision. It's the type of thing a Warren Buffett would do, because he's in this for the long haul, so he knows he has to get it right. And so there's no shame in you calling me up and saying, hey, Dwayne, man, I was really doing good, and now suddenly I can't figure out what I'm doing wrong. Okay, go book a mentoring session. Once you become a partner or a client, the mentoring session costs you nothing but time. I spend 45 minutes with you. You've done the right thing. You've journaled all your trades, whether by audio and if you do it by audio, then you transcribe it at the end of the day, so that when you and I have our mentoring session, you can say, on January the 4th at 2 p.m. in the afternoon, I took a long trade on Crude at this price. Can you tell me if I did anything wrong? And you're able to see my charts. I can pull that up on my big screen, and together we'll dissect that trade. We'll see if you missed something, if you did anything wrong. It might be that what happened was you had a valid long trade setup. You executed it perfectly, but then the group mind, the hive mind, if you will, and what I'm talking about is all the other traders in the world. Because when you go long a position, what you need to hit your target is for a whole bunch of other traders to also go long. Because once you're long, the only way you're going to hit your target is if other traders go long, and slowly, tick by tick, it pushes the price higher and higher and higher and higher until you hit your goal. Same thing if you go short. Now, you're going short based upon your definable edge, the edge that we teach you. It's the only edge we've used in the live training room for the last 4 years. Why don't we ever change it? If it's not broke, you don't fix it. Okay? Once you go short, in order to hit your target, you need other traders to also see a reason to go short. For them, it might be some algorithm, it might be some numerical formula, it might be a pattern, some type of pattern recognition. Doesn't matter what the reason is. You simply need other traders to go short to push price down so that it hits your target. Okay? There will be times you've watched a school of fish swimming in one of these underwater nature shows, and they're all going in a straight line, and then all of a sudden, they all, in a fluid motion, they all turn left. They swim for a while, and then they all turn right. Now, you don't see this with fish, but if you've ever watched any of the old Army movies with Danny Kaye and some of the other guys, the platoon would be marching, and the commander would give the drill instructor would give a command to turn left, and everybody would turn left except the one guy, Danny Kaye or Bing Crosby, and they would be still going straight, or they would turn right, and it was funny. It was slapstick comedy. Well, when it happens in the market, it's not funny because it's real money, but it happens. So in those cases, when I evaluate the trade with you, I'll say, you know what, bud? It looks like you did everything by the book. I can't spot anything wrong here. This is simply a trade that, despite your best efforts, the market went against your trade. It happens. The best trader in the world, with the latest equipment, co-located servers, a staff of 10 scurrying around with clipboards and iPads and 12 news feeds running and all these big screens everywhere. On his best day, he's going to be profitable 7 out of 10 trades. That's it. Every now and then he might get lucky, and we don't like to talk about luck because luck is no way to build a trading business. And that's what you're doing. You're building a trading business. You've got to do things right in the beginning because you're actually building the foundation that your business is going to rest upon, hopefully for generations to come. The more you treat it like a business, the more business-like results you're going to get. Okay? So, remember this. Whether you're on the trial, or you've become a partner, or you've become a Concierge Trade Alert client, requesting help is the sign of a wise businessman. It is not a walk of shame. Now, there are very few places where you can go to get a trading education where you have unlimited access to the developers of the system. Now, if I see that you're taking so many mentoring sessions that you're kind of almost asking me to do your job for you, I have to put the kibosh on that and go, now, hang on. I gave you some homework to do the last time we met. Please email me over a copy of your homework. Well, I'm sorry, I didn't get a chance to do that. Okay. Tell you what, the business plan, you're supposed to write that in your first 30 days. That's where you talk to your CPA and you guys decide if your new business, whatever you choose to name it, is going to be an LLC, an S Corp, sole proprietorship, If you're in Canada, they have, or the UK, they have, different names for those. But this shows that you're treating it like a real business. You're actually going to sit down with the information we give you, sort of a rough draft or a blueprint, if you will, and you're going to write your business plan. You're going to define your goals for the first 30 days, 90 days, 6 months, a year, 5 years, okay? It's going to be the kind of document you could go into a bank and say, hey, here's my business model. I'd like a loan. Except we don't borrow money to become traders. We save our money, however we save our money, from work, from, our trust fund check that comes in the mail, whatever, however you get your money. You save it so that you can pay for your education, which the cost of our education is a fraction of what many out there charge. Many charge 10 grand, and just because it costs more doesn't make it better, okay? There's one late night guy that charges 7 grand for 5 days. Oh, how I wish I could teach you how to trade in 5 days. What a blessing that would be for both of us. Sadly, it's not possible, okay? Now, this isn't rocket science. It isn't brain surgery. If you have an average IQ, can think on your feet or think on your seat because you're sitting down, and do a little math in your head, learn to think in probabilities, develop a nice sense of discipline and patience, then you have every good possibility of becoming a professional trader. If you're high strung, you can't listen to reason, you refuse to follow rules, you have no patience, then I'm going to tell you now, you're probably better off looking into some other kind of business venture, whether it's a Subway franchise or whatever it might be, okay? Not everyone has the physiological makeup to become a trader. In the beginning, it's only natural to be nervous, to maybe doubt yourself, doubt your abilities, but if it's what you want, if you want not only the money that's possible, but you want the freedom that is a reality, because I could pack up tomorrow. Were it not for the radio station, I could just pack up tomorrow, and my wife and I and the kids, we could move to Ecuador. The kids have passports, and I know that a good, fast, reliable internet connection is available there. I could go to work. And with a little bit of, effort, I could move the radio station with me. Or I could run everything through a virtual private network, leave my servers here in Phoenix, and, administrate everything from there. The technology exists. So trading represents two things. The ability to, over time, not overnight, okay, but over time, learn to earn an above average income. And number two, the freedom to work from anywhere in the world where there's a fast, robust internet connection. I did a blog post back some months ago at emini.cfrn.net, and it gave the top 20 places in the world that had the best internet connections and speed. They rated it based on reliability and speed. So if you can find that post, enjoy it. Otherwise, you can just Google it up. Let's see real quick. Sometimes you can find stuff like this. Best internet CFRN. Oh, that's our Trademaster computer that we sell. Yeah, I don't see that particular. But all you have to do is just Google fastest internet connections worldwide. South Korea, believe it or not, has the fastest internet in the world at an average connection speed of 25.3 megabits per second. And you click here. This might be very well where I got the meat for the post. South Korea, Hong Kong, Japan, Switzerland, Sweden, Netherlands, Ireland, Latvia, Czech Republic, Singapore. Now, my internet is substantially faster than that, but that's the average connection speed. See? Notice the USA. And if you're wondering what your internet speed is, speedtest.net. Doesn't matter who your internet provider is, you can use this. If you're on a mobile device, I think you have to use a different page. There was a report out today, a news article about a couple of the major credit agencies had to pay some pretty huge fines because they've been misleading people. The one I like is Credit Karma, K-A-R-M-A. Credit Karma, K-A-R-M-A.com, one word. When they pull your credit report, it doesn't ding your credit. They update you monthly what your current score is. And if you have a good score, they will send you once a month, when they send you your report, any suggestions that they have. Hey, you're using this card that has this rate, but you qualify for this card that has this rate and has 2% cash back. You might want to consider, applying for this card. That's how they monetize the service they provide. Okay? So, you just click Begin Test. It's pretty obvious. It will then search for a server to ping off of. And 19 milliseconds latency. It's pretty normal. See, I'm pegging 50. What I pay for is I pay for 50 up. No. I pay for 50 down. And I pay for 10 up. So, I got 53.4 down. It's the up. That's the one you always comes in lower and is a little bit of a struggle. Looks like I'm going to get my 10 though. Now, this test is not tied in with my internet provider, so I have reason to believe that it's a pretty accurate and reliable test. All this other stuff, be careful about clicking on all these other ads and whatnot, because I can't vouch for any of that. Okay? Oh, this ad right here turned out to be for Credit Karma. Now, you feel a little hinky putting your name and your Social Security number in. They provide a secure connection, but make sure that your end is secure. Okay, if the kids play video games on your work computer, shame on you. There's a high probability that you have a bug, virus, Trojan, and it may be sleeping dormant until you do something, such as enter a Social Security number, wakes it up, sends the info back to the mothership. It's not there to destroy your computer or destroy your files. That's just kids playing. Criminals want your important information, your birth date, your Social Security number, those types of things. Okay? So I just can't encourage you to be careful out there on the internet. Internet's a wonderful thing, but just like money, it can be used for good or bad. That $100 bill, Whether you build a dirty bomb or feed a starving child, the expression on Ben Franklin's face never changes. I got to get busy. I got to do the concierge trade alerts for tonight. If after I send the alerts out tonight, I see that you've come along and watched this video and signed up, I will still send you out tonight's alerts along with Monday and Tuesday's alerts, but it won't count towards your 5 days. Your 5 days won't start until tomorrow, okay? So you can sign up tonight. Your 5 days will start tomorrow. If you have any questions, email us, support@cfrn.net. Call us at 949-42-EMINI. And, we did a big article, video, sort of an expose on the whole problem of fake news out there and how it permeates every area of the internet and how it's the new scourge of the internet, the schoolyard bully, if you will. And I really poured my heart out in a video, and you can find it by going to emini.cfrn.net or by going to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/CFRN. All of our videos get uploaded to both places, and some of them, that one actually also got uploaded to our iTunes channel. And in iTunes, they have some categories. One, of course, one is business, and under the what's hot in business, out of thousands upon thousands upon thousands of podcasts, we rank number 30. And I know that doesn't mean a whole lot to you, but for me, it's a vindication of all the hard work I've done over the years to do the right thing. Now, I know that some of you out there probably have read something negative about me one way or the other. You know what? That's okay. What other people think of me, none of my business. Every night when I go to bed, I look myself in the mirror and I'm talking to myself, I'm talking to God. I'm able to look myself in the mirror and say, you did your very best today at everything you did. And I sleep well. And it is the reason that we're still in business after 12 years. Because we do the right thing. We do believe in integrity. That's more important to us than profitability. We enjoy being profitable, but it's most important that we be filled with integrity. Honesty, integrity, profitability. Yes, we're hip. So, people ask me, Dwayne, why don't you go to these forums or these sites and set these people straight? And I say, because that's exactly what they want. They bait me, number one, because I'm a Christian, and they want me to come over there and get rowdy and say things and defend myself, and I don't have anything to defend myself for. If I had done something wrong, I would come on my own radio show and I would apologize for it. And there have been mistakes I've made over the years, and I have apologized. I don't have a problem with that. But see, when I extend a challenge to anyone who has anything negative to say to me to come on the radio show and have a public discussion in the public square and talk about it, nobody will take me up on it. People who hide behind screen names and the First Amendment, and publishers who hide behind the Freedom of the Press Amendment. But when I say, hey, well, why don't you come on the show and let's talk about it. Let's talk about real life examples. They won't do it. When I say, hey, let's rent out an exhibit hall in Vegas and we'll trade head-to-head, one-on-one, mano-a-mano for an 8-hour day, and whatever profits, if any, are generated by the end of the day will go to charity. I pick a charity, you pick a charity, and then whatever profits are made that day, they get split down the middle, and both charities get a nice little boost. Nobody wants to take me up on it. So, if you've ever wondered why I don't go over there, because if I do, number one, I lower myself to their level, and number two, I create clicks for their site. They have advertisers, and the more clicks they get, like if I got in a real, slapping match with one of these guys, boy, that would just drive web traffic and would just create, all kinds of clicks and put money in the culprit's pocket. I won't do that. They can come on my radio show, which is recorded live to tape. So whatever's said will be said in the town square, just like in the old days. Okay? Honest, fair. We treat everybody with dignity and respect. Now, I've had associates who have researched some of these people who have had things to say. You know what? 95% of those people never spent a dime with us. They were sent to be a spy. One guy even admits, I used a bunch of fake, they're so stupid, I was able to use a bunch of fake IDs to spend 30 days in their live trading room. This is after I refused to participate in the pay-for-play scandal. What do they call that? It's a form of blackmail, extortion, that's it. Yeah, I refused to be extorted. I'm not going to pay money so you'll say nice things about me. No. You either say nice things about me because you believe them, or you can say what you want. What you think about me is none of my business. As my grandmother said, if you don't have something good to say, then you just don't say anything. So I'm just telling you that because, I'm not so naive as to know that it's not there and that you're not going to stumble across it if you go looking for it. And the fact that I said it here on this video, oh my God, your fingers are just burning up the keyboard. Oh, what'd they say? What'd they say? If I were afraid of it, if any of it were true, if I wanted to make it go away, would I not keep my mouth shut and go play their game and pay their little extortion fee and make them go away? Wouldn't I do that? But I'm not. I'm not going to do that. Because then I wouldn't be able to look myself in the mirror every night and say, Dwayne, you're not perfect, but brother, you did the best job you could in everything you did today with what you have to work with. And then sleep like a baby. And see, I enjoy my sleep. So I'm going to maintain business on a level, open, transparent playing field. And I encourage anyone that ever wants to speak to me, ever, call me. You don't have to go through a automated attendant. You don't have to deal with a secretary. You can call me at 602-235-0384. That phone rings one place and one place only. In my hand. That was me picking it up. That's where it rings. That number is routed to my phone. If you call it, you'll hear my voice. If you get voicemail, leave a message, I'll call you back. That's how it works. If you don't leave a message, I can't call you back. Well, I could if you display your number on the caller ID. However, if you aren't willing to tell me who you are and why you're calling, then, again, I won't play that game. What I'll play is an honest, open, fair, above-board, transparent, integrity-filled conversation. That's what I'll do. 602-235-0384. You can call that number 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And if I'm not sleeping or doing the radio show, I'll get back to you within minutes. And if I'm not doing the radio show or sleeping, I'll try my very best to answer it the first time it rings. Unless you're calling from a blocked number. Then I know you're up to something, and I'll probably let you roll over to voicemail to see if you leave a message. Okay? That's it, guys. I got to go do concierge trade alerts, get ready for tomorrow. If you want to get signed up tonight, I will send you the video class for Monday night, and I will send you some instructions on how to get into the live trading room tomorrow, the password, and a whole bunch of other information. And it's important information, so do yourself a favor and read all the way through it, okay? This is not about getting wealthy overnight. It's not going to happen. This is about learning how to grow a trading business from the ground up, with no loans, with no debt, none of that stuff. It's exciting, it's real, and let's find out if you have what it takes to succeed as a professional trader. If you don't, it doesn't make you a bad person. You're not flawed. It's just that God has something different for you. He has something that He created you specifically for. Go find it, whatever it is. Okay? All right, love you guys. Thanks for spending. I went long tonight. I was going to go short, but 2017 resolution. Really try to go short. Okay. All right. I'll see you all in the morning in the live trading room. Take care, and thanks so much.